Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Bears Talk Today. Justin, tough loss against the Packers.
Yep.
The Bears were riding high. They went into the game as the number one seed in the NFC, or went into the week, rather, as the number one seed in the NFC. Tough loss against the Packers in Lambeau, 28-21. Now, I know we're going to spend a lot of time talking about this game, but I would like to just get out just right away. That, to me, was a pretty optimistic performance by the Bears.
Yeah.
A lot of things went wrong. They didn't play well for the first, huge stretch of this game. And they still found a way to keep it close enough to where, in the end, it was one play away from tying the ball game.
Yeah.
Justin, what were kind of just your overarching thoughts after the game?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm not mad at this loss. I think when you look at the game, obviously the first half was definitely scary. It looked like it was going to be a repeat of history before, where the Packers just run amok and do what they do against us in seasons past. But I will say, that second half magic that we've been kind of witnessing all season is still there. I mean, I feel like it was two completely different teams, that came out there during that game. And even, really in the second quarter going into halftime, it really seemed like our run game was really working for our advantage. And I think, we talked about this before we started. The Packers are smart. They are watching our trick plays, especially in the third quarter when, they're trying to do that trick play, and then DJ Moore got completely obliterated by, the Packers with that, right? So this team is obviously – they're really good for a reason, and they're watching what we do. But, to still be able to go into Lambeau Field, be able to outscore them in the second half, and almost win, yeah, I'm pretty optimistic too. And I think a lot of times, in this whole Bears-Packers rivalry, you have people say that Caleb sucks and this and that. But I'm like,
he made some throws in that second half.
He made some intense throws. I mean, think about it. Even though I think, if Rome played in the game, I think could have helped us, but I don't think it would have been like, oh my gosh, she's the reason why we lost. But Colston Loveland looked good. Luther Burden looked great. Though we have weapons on our team now. So I think definitely in 2 weeks we are going to see a bloodbath. And we're just going to see the Bears, do their thing at home.
Yeah, no. There was a couple key takeaways for me. This game being at Lambeau, honestly, and I'm not bragging about this. I am a little bit. Still my undefeated record predicting the games. Part of the reason I did that was because this game is in Lambeau. The advantage was clear. Playing in Lambeau is very, very difficult, especially in the month of December and January. So obviously just a really, really tough environment. You start the game off slow like they did, 3 points in the first half. You put yourself in such a big hole. But like you said, completely different team coming out in the second half.
Yeah.
They relied more on that run game. It opened up some lanes for Caleb Williams in the passing game. Like I said, he made some throws in that second half, Justin, complete wow throws. Yeah. The one on the run to Zacchaeus, the one on the run to Duvernay, there was just a bunch of throws that he made where you're like, this kid is special. Yeah. And it's not the passing game hasn't all clicked yet, but when it does, it's going to be very scary.
It is.
I think this Green Bay team is truly one of the best teams in the NFC. They're well coached. They have superb talent. Jordan Love has been playing his best football these last few weeks. He played well on Thanksgiving. He continued to play well yesterday through 3 touchdowns. Yeah. I was optimistic after the early interception that, hey, maybe we're going to get one of those Jordan Love games. Right. But he snapped out of it quick. He was playing very, very well. He was in complete command of this offense. He, was able to find mismatches with his receivers, specifically with Christian Watson. Bears defensive backfield, I think, struggled in this game.
It did.
Mightily. Too many big plays, too many explosives, too many mix-ups in coverage that allowed them to get behind the defense and Jordan Love. I mean, when Jordan Love is uncorking those deep balls, like something bad's going to happen, and that sick feeling in your stomach is there when they're dancing in the end zone. So, defensively, there is some stuff to clean up. The biggest concern for me after this game, Justin, is I'm not concerned about Caleb. Definitely not concerned about Ben Johnson. I'm not concerned about the run game. I am concerned about this pass rush. They were pretty non-existent the entire game. Yeah, I know Montez Sweat had 1 sack, but the Bears' defensive line did not impact this game at all. Josh Jacobs had an okay game, 20 carries, 86 yards. That's fine, right? That's nothing crazy. But Jordan Love, it felt like, had all day to sit back there and throw. And with those receivers and our defensive backs, he was tearing us apart. So
he was.
I think, to me, the biggest concern and the biggest reason for pessimism, if you're looking for the remainder of the Bears season, their pass rush has to improve, and it has to improve quick.
Yeah. I mean, it does, right? I mean, I really felt like throughout this whole entire game, I mean, if you look at completions for Jordan Love, I mean, he was barely touched, right? He was able to get back. I mean, it was like the tale of two halves. I mean, really, Caleb could not really get a ball off, or really make a pressure-free throw, and Jordan Love was just back there, feeling comfortable, which allowed him to attack and allowed him to expose our defense. So I definitely agree. The pass rush definitely has to be better, especially against this team. I do think definitely, that home field advantage definitely worked a little bit. I think, once they come in the Soldier Field 2 weeks from now, it's going to be a hostile environment. I think if we're able to, get one or two good sacks on them, I think it kind of changes the momentum, for Green Bay. But, yeah, pass rush is definitely something that, I'm pretty sure Dennis Allen will be looking at and, working on ways how we can improve.
Yeah, and the other concerning part is that, against the blitz, I think Jordan Love threw all three of his touchdowns against the blitz.
Yeah.
So when the Bears were trying to manufacture some pressure, it wasn't working. They're too thin in the defensive backfield. We talked about Rome Odunze being out this game. Kyler Gordon also missed this game. That's been a huge loss for the Bears at majority of the year this year.
Yeah.
They need to get healthy in defense in general. I mean, they have no linebackers. They're close to having no corners.
Yeah.
They're very banged up. And against a good team like Green Bay, it did cost them. But I want to spin this back to a positive thing because I thought in the second half, the way that the Bears were able to come out of halftime. I mean, let's look at the third quarter, okay? Third quarter starts. Touchdown, field goal. Bless you. Touchdown. This is the Bears' drives. 10-play, 64-yard touchdown. 7-play drive, field goal. 17-play, 83-yard touchdown.
Crazy.
7-play, 60 yards. That was the 4th and 1 with Caleb threw the interception on. So the Bears absolutely dominated this second half from an offensive philosophy standpoint. They said, we're going to run the ball and you're not going to be able to stop us.
No, not at all.
And despite having Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary and all of these talented players on defense, the Packers could not stop the Bears. No. I wish that the Bears had played more of their brand of football starting the game.
Yeah.
Because you look at the first quarter, punt, or 3-play punt, 3-play punt, 5-play punt, 14-play field goal drive. Like you said, the second quarter, they got it going a little bit. Then another 4-play punt. So you look at this Bears offense and the way they were able to manufacture yards and gain momentum against the Packers, it was through the run game.
It was.
And that's been the Bears' identity this entire season, is when they've been successful, they've been running the football well.
They have.
I thought they got a little too pass happy in the first half. I thought maybe he should have allowed the run, Ben Johnson that is, to get the run game going, give Caleb some quick completions to build up his confidence. I thought, again, how many 3rd and 12s did we have in the first half? 3rd and 15, 3rd and 8, whatever it was.
Yep.
The Bears' offense is not built to thrive in those scenarios. Really, no offenses are, right? But the Bears want to keep the ball going, keep the chains moving, and get you in 3rd and manageable. That way you can do those bootleg plays with Caleb, and if nothing's open, he can scramble, get 5 yards, get a first down.
Yeah.
Or you can give it to Monunga up the middle, or you can pitch it to Swift. The whole entire playbook's open when it's 3rd and short.
Right.
3rd and 15, everybody knows you're passing. And when Micah Parsons knows you're passing, you're in trouble.
Right.
Number one. Number two, it limits the plays that you're able to call that are going to get 15 yards. So I thought the Bears should have done a better job of – and Ben Johnson adjusted, so I'm not mad at him because in the second half you saw a complete switch in the offense.
You did.
But I wish they would have played more of their brand of football in the first half, gotten themselves in more advantageous situations, and not given so much momentum to Green Bay.
Yeah, I think that was definitely huge. I mean, I think that's what has won us. That I think playing our brand and style of football has gotten us to where we are at this point. And I think if we try to go, bar for bar, if we try to go, play for play with another team, that's going to throw us out of sync. That's going to throw us out of rhythm. So I think it's just important to continue doing us, right? If we're having a really good run game, I don't think anybody can stop us. If we're having a really good passing game, I think we're one of the best teams in the conference or in the league, really. So, yeah.
Yeah, that pass rush for Green Bay felt like it was unstoppable in that first half. And you didn't really notice them a lot in the second half. It's because when you're in all these obvious passing situations, the defensive ends, Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary, those guys
Yep.
can just pin their ears back and go after Caleb Williams.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you're mixing it up, when you're running, when it's, like I said, 2nd and 3, 3rd and 2, whatever, whole entire playbook's open, they have that half second of hesitancy where, all right, is it a run, is it a pass, is it play action, whatever.
Right.
That's a good way to kind of slow down those pass rushers. I will say another thing continues to amaze me this year. Caleb Williams' avoidance of sacks.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. This guy is Houdini in the backfield. I mean, he is not, I wouldn't consider him a Lamar Jackson, whatever, Justin Fields, even though we're not allowed to say that name. An athlete like that, but he is so twitchy. He is so
Very
quick.
much.
He's able to evade pressure. And much more this year I've noticed than last year is if he's evading pressure and there's nobody open.
Yeah.
There's nobody open, he'll throw the ball away. And that's live to fight another down. I am totally okay with that. You know, last year I thought he got a little too trigger happy. He would try to force balls in, that there wasn't room for the receivers, and it was an interception. This year, he's like, I'm going to escape. I'm going to avoid the sack. I'm going to throw the ball away.
Yeah.
And I'm totally okay with that.
That's
totally
smart.
okay with that. So Caleb Williams continues to be Houdini against pass rushers. Now, Justin, there's a couple more things that I want to talk about in this game. You mentioned Luther Burden. Luther Burden, I think, is slowly becoming our wide receiver one. He's becoming one of Caleb's favorite targets.
Okay.
Especially with Roma Dunze being out.
Yeah.
I saw he's likely out next week as well against the Browns. 4 catches, 67 yards. Don't even do it. Don't even do it.
Dang it! You're man. Okay, I won't cringe it this time.
4 catches, 67 yards. You know, I think that he is starting to play to his full potential. Right?
Yeah.
With Roma Dunze being down, I think that's going to be key. Colston Loveland was more involved in the game. By the way, Colston Loveland caught that first pass.
That was a steal, bro.
That was a steal. That was absolutely bogus. He definitely caught that. Whatever. Cheating Packers are going to cheat. Anyways, but like I said, pass rush needs to improve.
I agree.
I think we need to we're not the 2000 Rams, all right? We're not going to just throw the ball 500 times a game, right? This isn't the 2012 or 2019 Chiefs, okay? We are going to run the ball, and especially playing in Chicago. It's cold in Chicago. We're playing We're playing in Chicago the next couple of weeks. We're going to have to go in the playoffs. We're going to have to play in a Green Bay or maybe, play in one of these other cold environments. It's going to be cold. And when it's cold and when it's crappy out, you got to run the ball. You got to play good defense. Defense needs some work, but the run game is our bread and butter, and it's worked all year. So, Justin, I think that does it for me for the Packers game. Did you have any other kind of analysis that you wanted to give on that?
I guess we talked about a lot. I think the last question I have for you, and just kind of to get your brain on this, who do you think deserves more of the heat, or I guess who deserves more of the blame for that fourth quarter mishap? Would that be Caleb? Would that be Ben Johnson on the play call? What do you think happened in that moment?
So I'm gonna do what a lot of politicians do, and I'm going to totally deflect that question. No, I'm just kidding. I honestly think, I don't think it was a bad play call. I don't think it was a terrible throw by Caleb. Cole Kmet's a big guy. You give him a 50-50 ball.
Sure.
And I think, truthfully, in my heart of hearts, I believe the Packers did their homework, right? Because we talked about it off air. That was the same play that the Bears scored their big touchdown against the Eagles on.
Yep.
Right? So the Packers did their homework. They were ready. They watched film.
Yep.
And Keyshawn Nixon just made a great play on the ball. He recognized the play, got over to Cole Kmet, was able to make a play on the ball. I think that's honestly more about the Packers being well coached and well prepared in that situation than it was about some disaster call or horrible throw or drop by Cole Kmet, whatever.
Yeah.
I honestly think that was just a great anticipation by Keyshawn Nixon. Proves that he's been doing his homework. Proves that the Packers defense has been studying up on the Bears. And sometimes you just get beat. Sometimes they come on in a defense that's well prepared for what you're going to run.
Yeah.
I thought, hey. When he threw the ball up, I'm like, it's 4th and 1. You gave your guy a shot. Who better than the big tight end, right?
Right.
I didn't have a problem with it necessarily. Obviously, the result sucks, and you're upset about it and whatever. Caleb could have technically maybe jogged for the first down or ran for the first down, but, in hindsight's 20/20, obviously. But I didn't have a problem with the process of that play call. What about you?
I agree. I mean, I think, in my mind, I feel like as the quarterback, this is your – third time playing Green Bay, second time playing Green Bay. Yeah. You've heard about the rivalry. You've heard about, and I feel like in rivalry games, it gets more intense. Like, it's not like your everyday game. Like, that was a playoff atmosphere kind of feel, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, of course, people have already doubted Caleb Williams before and, have said he's not good. And I get it. You want to be able to go out there and show – you want to ice the game.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've said this before, like, I don't think he'll make that same mistake twice. I think next time he'll run it out of bounds or, Ben Johnson would say, let's call the run play, let's get a little closer, and then try to score. I also noticed as well I didn't realize how fast the time went down in that fourth quarter.
They're bleeding that clock.
They were bleeding that clock.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wish they would have done a better job of just preserving more of that clock, because I feel like that would have been better for us. I feel like that could have gave Caleb a little bit more. Or let's say if we even had, 30, let's say if it was a minute left and, we make that play and we have 30 seconds left. Yeah. That's still a chance for us to win, right? I feel like we kind of, mismanaged that timing. But yeah, I think Caleb just wanted to be able to ice the game himself, right? Mm-hmm. They get the touchdown, they get the field goal most likely, and they win the game, and Caleb's the hero. But, it's a learning lesson, right? I'd rather have him do this here than an NFC playoff game.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, we want to talk about emotions being so high. This was the biggest Bears-Packers game since, 2013?
Yeah.
Right? This was what the rivalry is about. People that are not from the Midwest, when you talk about Bears-Packers, are like, well, the Packers beat the Bears every time. That's not a rivalry. People don't understand that there is pure hatred on both sides. The Bears hate the Packers hate the Bears. And this game is the first game in such a long time where both teams are contenders. Because let's be honest, the Bears have been horrible for a decade, with the exception of 2018. They've been horrible, right? The Packers have not for the most part. This was the first time in a long time where both teams were really, really good, playing at Lambeau Field. This game, not for the entire season, but this game temporarily decided the winner of the NFC North. For the Bears were the number 1 seed going into this game. Like, there was a lot on the line, and this was a great, great game. It came down to the wire. I mean, say Cole Kmet Moss's Keyshawn Nixon in the end zone, right? Maybe we're talking about a Bears 29-28 victory, or we're talking about a Bears 27-28 loss. I bet you they would have gone for the 2-point conversion, and who knows what Ben Johnson would have called.
Right.
But it's one of those things where this was a great, great game, and it reminds Bears fans that they have a chance.
Yeah.
Right? It reminds Bears fans what this rivalry is supposed to be. Two juggernauts, two of the most iconic teams in the NFL going at it, facing off for supremacy. They took the L in Green Bay, Lambeau. Now we get them in Chicago in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I think that, again, like you said, I think the Bears will be ready for Green Bay.
I think so.
I think a lot of what Green Bay did well, they had a great Jordan Love game. They pass protected very well. They hit the explosive plays. If the Bears can stop one of those, if they can get another sack, if they could get another interception, if the Bears run the ball earlier in the game, this outcome could be different, and it could be different, especially with the home field advantage in 2 weeks in Chicago. So
I agree. Yeah.
So that's our analysis of the Bears-Packers game. We do need to talk about our playoff tracker and our kind of what's going on situation. So the Bears entered this week as the number 1 seed with that loss. They're now the number 7 seed in the playoffs. So still in the playoffs. Yeah. Still in the playoffs. 9-4. And Justin, we were talking about this off air. The problem for the Bears is not so much the Bears.
No.
As opposed to years past. The problem with the Bears is not the Bears. The problem is the NFC is really, really good. Right now, as it goes, the Rams are the number 1 seed. Green Bay now moves into the number 2 seed after beating us. Philly is the 3 seed. Tampa is winning the South at 7-6, so they are by default the 4th seed. Then you got for the playoff for the wildcard teams, Seattle's 10-3, the Niners are 9-4, and the Bears are 9-4. Yeah. So despite being 9-4, the Bears are hanging on to a playoff spot. Current playoff predictor percentage on NFL.com says the Bears have a 64% chance. It was in the high 70s last week. Whereas Seattle has a 99 and the 49ers have a 90. Justin, I'm gonna ask you, what is your confidence level that the Bears are going to be able to make the playoffs / win the division / get the number 1 seed? I mean, I know all of those probably went down this week, but what are your thoughts on the Bears still being able to make the playoffs?
You know what? I'm still confident in the Bears making the playoffs, especially with the NFC South. I really feel like that's going to be the wild card, especially if the Buccaneers, lose traction and somehow the Panthers get up there. I'll say this. For my answer now, it'll be yes, because I think, we still have a decent amount of football to play left, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, when you look at these teams that are in the playoffs, I think the biggest danger is we really have to be fans of anybody who's playing the Lions, because they could sneak up and take our spot, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's really going to be those 8 or 9 teams, including the Lions and Panthers, who are 8th and 9th, that can sneak in there and replace any one of these teams, right? So I think we have a chance. I think the 64% is actually pretty accurate, just because of the remaining teams that are outside of us, right? A lot of these teams are 9-4, 10-4, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we go back to how we kind of discussed earlier in the season. Unfortunately, those division wins are so important.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, man, what if we would have won against week 1 against Minnesota, or what if we won against Detroit?
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a little bit of a different conversation right now.
Right.
But we have to, work with what we have. And I think, for me, if I had to look at any one of these teams that, are kind of not frauds, but more of I just don't see them holding on, definitely look at the Buccaneers. I also look at the 49ers as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're 3rd in the NFC West. They're 9-4. I feel like they've been a good regular season team, but they're low-key. They're like one injury away from
they're about 40 injuries in already. So,
right. So
I agree. I think the biggest problem for the Bears is actually the NFC West. The NFC West could potentially send 3 teams to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Seattle and Los Angeles right now are fighting for the number 1 seed in the NFC. Whatever team doesn't get that, and they play each other in 2 weeks, that team will be the 5th seed likely in the NFC playoff picture. And then the 49ers are up there as well.
Yeah.
So we've talked about all year, 10 is the magic number. We said if we get to 10 wins, we should be able to make the playoffs. And we might got to modify that a little bit. We might need to get to 11 because the NFC is just that good this year. So we look at our schedule. We say, okay, we have 9 wins right now. We play the Browns, the Packers again, the 49ers, and the Lions. Truth be told, Justin, and maybe this is a spoiler for what we're about to talk about in a few minutes, we're going to beat the Browns.
Yeah.
I think we can agree. It's at home. If we don't beat the Browns, we don't deserve to make the playoffs.
No, not at
You
all.
beat the Browns. Then you have Green Bay, San Francisco, and Detroit. You got to win one of those 3 games. And honest to God, if I had to pick one of those games, I might pick the 49ers.
I would too.
Just because they are going to be competing in that same spot for us, right?
Yep.
Because if the Packers could likely win our division, and that's fine, whatever. The 49ers, I think, will not win the West.
No.
And I think that the Bears versus the 49ers will be the game that could determine who's the number 7 seed in the NFC right now, right? So it'll be so interesting to see. Now, that game is in San Francisco, which, weather's not going to be crazy, likely in San Francisco, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think now for the Bears, it's so imperative that they win one of Green Bay, San Francisco, Detroit. The other thing that's not looking great for the Bears right now, Justin, is, when teams have the same record, you go by tiebreakers, right? The Bears' divisional record right now is 1-3.
Yeah.
So you really want to beat Detroit and Green Bay and get to 3-3 in the division.
Yeah.
But to steal 2 of those games is going to be very difficult, especially with Detroit fighting for the playoff lives. At the beginning of the year, I said, well, maybe Detroit has the 1 seed locked up and whatever.
Yep.
They will not. They will be fighting to the bitter end to get whatever positioning they have. So, the Bears' schedule is pretty brutal. We're going to need to steal one of those last 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely beat the Browns. The Browns game is an absolute have to win.
Yes.
You have to win against the Browns. You cannot. You have no room to mess around. Can't let them stick around. You can't do what the Rams did a couple weeks ago to the Panthers. You got to beat the Browns, and then you got to win one of the last 3, preferably against the 49ers and or the Packers.
Yeah.
So, all right, I think, playoff chances wise, I would say we're slightly above a coin flip.
Yeah, seriously.
I would agree. It really is because we can look at this team in a few weeks and say, wow, the Bears went 10-7 and they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah,
and I think that's still a resounding success, doubling your wins. You know what I'm saying, showing improvements across the board.
Right,
and that would just be you just fall victim to how good the NFC is this year with all the top teams, with Seattle, with San Francisco, with the Rams, with the Packers, with the Lions, whatever. I mean, Cowboys aren't even dead, right? That'd be pretty shocking.
That's
but
crazy.
The Cowboys aren't even dead yet. So 11 wins, and we even saw a graphic today, me and Justin. Even if the Bears get to 11 wins, they're not guaranteed a spot. Like there is a scenario where 11 wins doesn't even get. So again, you might fall victim to the NFC here, but don't even worry about that. Beat the Browns and then win one of those last 3 games. Justin, speaking of the Browns, we got a little game preview to do. What are some of the key matchups that the Bears are going to have to face off against with the Browns, other than Mr. Shedeur Sanders?
It's kind of the same thing with the Packers, right? There's a Hall of Fame talent, Myles Garrett, that you have to worry about. But realistically, that's about it. That is about it for their defense. I don't feel like the Browns' defense is really strong. I mean, they did lose to the 1-12, 2-12, 2-11.
Yeah, also the Titans. Yeah,
they lost to the Titans, who have literally just got their second win. So my thing is more of, can the Bears be able to bounce back? Can you be able to shake off the rust? Because, I mean, it wasn't like, we talked about it earlier, like it wasn't like they got blown out. So their confidence should still be high. And I think, we spoke about this too, about, we want to get one against Cleveland and one against, Green Bay or Detroit or San Francisco, but every game counts from now until the end of the season, and the more wins we can use to separate ourselves from the bottom feeders of the NFC, the better. And I think in this game you're going to see an aggressive, we're at home, you're going to see an aggressive Bears team. I feel like they're going to come out running the ball. I feel like they're going to expose the Browns defense a little bit, and really on the offensive end, if Rome comes back, great. If he doesn't, we still have enough weapons. Let's use Loveland more. Whenever we use Loveland, it feels like it just
he's been making plays.
He's been making plays.
Exactly.
So I think using him, DJ Moore, let's get him back to, while Rome is out. Let's get him to make some some action plays out there. But I really think, it comes down to, can we stick to what we do best? Whether if it's running the ball, which I think in this scenario, it's probably going to be the same conditions as it was at Lambeau Field, or yesterday. And I think you just have to run the ball. Especially, we're not a dome team, right? We're not inside of a dome. We don't live in our Soldier Field is not in warm weather. So I think we have to stick to what works with us, and that's going to be like our X factor. That's going to be that's my key to the game. Run the football. Played. I'm not even really worried about. I think for me, offensively, let's run the ball. Defensively, can we pretty much? As much as I love Shedeur Sanders, we have to sack him. We have to get to him. Can we pressure him? Right. You see, he just threw for. I think he was the first rookie to throw under 400.
364 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 pick yesterday.
Yeah. So I think he was the first rookie to throw over 300 yards. And that's he's good. I think that not to be a Browns fan, but he's in a terrible situation. But
he is.
I don't want the Bears to underestimate him just because of his record. Like, let's act like this is any other quarterback in the league, that can cause trouble. Let's pressure him. I would really love like a really good defensive game where we just get some fumbles, interceptions. Like let's ice them out.
Yeah. Couple of notes for what you were talking about. You said you wanted the Bears to run the ball well. Yesterday, Tony Pollard for the Titans, 25 carries, 161 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Titans ran the ball very well against this Cleveland Browns team. And the Titans don't do a lot of things well. Okay?
Yeah.
This is not an elite running team. This is not a whatever. The Browns defense completely collapsed yesterday. They could not stop the run to save their life. Cam Ward didn't even play super well. 50% completion, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Shedeur for the Browns yesterday played very well. We mentioned the 364 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. But the Browns did not run the ball well at all.
No.
He was their leading rusher. 3
crazy.
carries for 29 yards.
Jeez.
Their lead back, their Ohio State guy, Quinshon Judkins, 14 carries for 26 yards, less than 2 yards per carry against the Titans.
The
Titans.
Titans, all people.
this is a game for the Bears. Listen, you got to dominate. This is not a game that we're going to win by a field goal. It should not be a game where you win on a last second interception.
Yep.
From the first quarter to the final whistle, this should be complete domination for Chicago.
It should.
This should be we are a contender playing against a bottom feeder. Okay?
Yeah.
And, we talked about this gauntlet of a schedule. This game right now comes at perfect timing for the Bears. Perfect timing, okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They need a cupcake win like this.
They do.
They need it. It's at home. There is no excuse for the Bears not to beat the Browns. Complete and utter disaster if the Bears lose this Browns game.
Yeah.
Complete and utter disaster. The only thing you have to worry about, Myles Garrett, who is a Hall of Famer. He is incredible. If he gets 3 sacks against Caleb, he'll break the single season record. Please don't do that against Caleb.
Yeah.
If he has 2, I was talking to Dennis about this. If he has 2, you bring in Tyson Bagent, you tell him take a fall for the team, and he breaks the record against Tyson Bagent. You do not do that to Caleb Williams.
You do
okay?
not. No.
I don't care if you have to quadruple team Myles Garrett. Do not let him ruin the game.
No, exactly, no.
Offensively, I actually like I said, Shador. I also like Harold Fannin, the tight end. He's been making a lot of big plays recently. But there is absolutely no way on God's green earth that the Bears should lose this game. I mean, no major injuries coming in. Game's at home. Absolute bottom feeder who just got destroyed. I don't even want to spend brain power thinking about it, but if the Bears lose, I might not do Bears talk next week.
It might just be me.
It might just be Justin. Yeah. I cannot stress this enough.
Yeah.
The Bears are better in every single category. They're better coached. They have better receivers. They have a better quarterback. They have a better defense with the exception of Myles Garrett.
Yep.
This is a 3-10 team. They're 1-5. They're 1-5 on the road. Absolutely cannot lose this game. Period. No. You honestly can't even win this game by like a field goal.
Nope.
You have to win this game by like a touchdown or more. I bet you, if I looked at the line,
Bears are probably looking real good this upcoming weekend.
Bears are 7.5 point favorites. That sounds exactly correct.
Yep.
Like that. That should be what the score is. So do not lose to Cleveland.
No.
Do not do that. I'll give my score prediction. I'll say, it's supposed to be, I'm looking at anywhere from 6 degrees to 20 degrees in Chicago. Probably not a super high scoring game. I'll go 24-10. Bears should put the Browns into the dirt and not let them out. 24-10 Bears win. Perfect record still on the line, by the way.
Yeah, no, perfect.
If the Browns are what does me in on my perfect record this year, I'm gonna lose my mind. Bears 24-10.
Yeah, we're gonna go. I'm feeling a little nicey. I'm feeling a little John Gruden action.
Yeah.
Let's go 35-7. Let's just, because my thing is you have to, like, I could see if this was like any other coach, but Ben Johnson is a psycho.
Yeah.
And because when I was watching the game, of course they had to bring up the press conference of, I like being Matt LaFleur twice a year. You know that he is pissed off that he lost yesterday.
That's the other thing I forgot to mention. Yep, exactly.
You know he is mad. You know he's gonna come out guns blazing, and he's gonna make sure his team is coming out guns blazing. No matter if it was the Browns, Lions, whoever else he would have faced after this loss to the Packers, watch out, because it's gonna be guns blazing.
I also have a prediction.
Yeah, go for it.
And it's not a score prediction. It's not a game prediction. I told you, Bears win handily. Last year, before the Lions played against the Minnesota Vikings, who, if you remember at that point, were really good before they got 9. They got 9.
Demon.
They played against the Cowboys, I believe it was. And the Lions were up big, and they just ran a bunch of trick plays. People were like, why would the Lions waste all these trick plays, and why would they run all these trick plays and whatever? Well, here's the thing. It was some psychological warfare, because in his mind, he thought, if I put all of these trick plays on film, then next week, Brian Flores is going to be, we have to defend against this play, and then this play, and this play.
Chess.
And I don't think there were any trick plays that next week against the Vikings. And he knew that Brian Flores was going to have to study all the trick plays, know the formation, know the tendencies, and just basically waste his time.
Yep.
I bet you pull out a bunch of unique trick plays against the Browns in a game that you're going to win handily, just in order to get the Packers second guessing and thinking, man, are they going to run that triple reverse pass to Caleb where he, pooch kicks it to Tyson Bagent, whatever he draws up, right?
Yep.
Just to mentally kind of warp the brain of the Packers and say, we got to prepare for this. And then you come out against Green Bay and you're running those same formations, but you're just running trap or ISO or pitch or whatever.
Yeah.
Things like that, I think, are why this second game is going to be advantageous to the Bears.
Yes.
I think Ben Johnson in this first game was already thinking about the game 2 weeks.
Oh, you know he was.
And maybe I'm just coping. Maybe I'm just a sorry Bears fan who just keeps losing to the Packers. But I truly believe that Ben Johnson's playing the long game here. And I think against the Browns, we're going to see some trick plays. We're going to see some, rabbit out of the hat type of things that Green Bay is going to have to expect and game plan for.
Yep.
That will be advantageous for the Bears. So that's my other prediction. But Justin, if there's nothing else, I mean, we're both predicting a resounding W for the Bears.
It should
this
be,
better be.
Yeah.
I think that's going to do it for this episode of Bears Talk. We're going to see you guys next week. Again, the Bears need to win this game. Absolutely.
Must win.
Absolutely.
Must win.
Maybe this time next week, we're 10-4.
Yeah.
We're in a good spot for the playoffs. But I think that'll do it for this episode of Bears Talk.
Yep.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Of course.
Catch you guys next week.
All right.